Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we're going to do another episode of Bites and Nibbles today. This is a recipe I actually found on my Facebook timeline. Now, I don't usually take that, anything I see there very seriously, but I looked at that and it sounded really good, and I said, you know what, I want to try it. And I looked at the ingredients, and it's a bunch of stuff that I like, and we're going to give it a shot today. We're going to make something called a corned beef sauerkraut Reuben Braid. Like I said, it looks like it's really simple, looks like it's really good, and I want to try this. Let's get going. Now, as I've often said, if there's a recipe that I'm not sure whether I'm going to like it or not, I'll look at the ingredients and say, yeah, okay, I like all these ingredients. I want to see how this is going to be. So that's kind of what this is. I looked at the ingredients, said everything looked really good. So let's try this out. Let's look at our ingredients. First off, I got a pound of corned beef, 5 slices of Swiss cheese, a refrigerated pizza crust, a little butter, a little Thousand Island dressing, and some sauerkraut. Let's get going. This is going to be great. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unroll our pizza dough. Now, it's funny, when I was pulling this thing out of the package, it kind of felt like a big giant burritos that you'd buy that'd be really, really unhealthy and really tasty. Anyway, this comes on a piece of parchment paper, so I'm just going to unroll the whole thing here. And let's see, make sure we get it on the right side here. Yeah, there we go. That's the side we want. Okay. Let's try and... Oh yeah, we're coming together here. There we go, got that. Plop that down onto here. Get it all nice and spread out. And I think we're about ready to go here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to preheat the oven. We're going to preheat it to 350 degrees. That's the default for my oven. So we're going to get that going so that when everything's ready to go, we can just throw it in the oven, be ready to go. Here we go. Now that I got my pizza roll all kind of rolled out and as flat as I'm going to get it, what I'm going to do, the recipe calls for about 1/4 cup of Thousand Island dressing. I think my pizza roll dough is a little bit more than that, so we're going to put a little bit more on here. And basically, I'm just going to put a strip of it right down the middle here. I'm going to use my basting brush to kind of go back and forth here, get it all rolled out nice and smooth. I think that's starting to look pretty good. All right. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my corned beef, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so I got fresh deli cut corned beef. So I'm just going to kind of spread this on all over the place. We'll do multiple layers. I'm going to do like one layer at a time. And basically this is a pound of corned beef. And I had them cut it at the number 2 setting to get it nice and thin. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. This smells fantastic already, holy cow. Some of these slices aren't just little handheld slices here, little hand-sized pieces. Some of them are kind of connected together, so I'm having to kind of tear the pieces apart, which can be a challenge when you only got one hand because one hand is holding the camera. I think I'm just going to go like this because that seems to be the way it wants to hold together anyway. All right. Yeah, this is going to be good. And that is the last of that. All right, so that's our corned beef. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put on the sauerkraut. So like with the Thousand Island dressing, I put a little bit more sauerkraut on here than the recipe actually calls for. It calls for about half a cup, but I got a half a cup on there, and I looked at that and was like, I'm not even gonna taste that. So I increased sauerkraut a little bit, and now we're just gonna top that off with some deli sliced Swiss cheese. And I got 5 slices, and actually I think each one of these is a double slice. So you know what? I like Swiss cheese. We'll just put more of that on too, right? A lot of times with these recipes, you just kind of make it up as you go along. And there's my oven. My oven's about ready to go. So that's how it looks now with all the cheese on it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice like little about 1-inch slices from of the pizza dough on either side, and we're going to wrap that over the top of this and make it kind of a braid. So I'll catch up with you in a minute and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so as you can see, I made little slices with a knife, basically from this edge all the way out to the edge. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to peel up each one of these kind of intermittently. Here, go up over the top of them. Kind of pull them at an angle so they're kind of crisscrossing back and forth. Got a few more slices on one side than the other, so I'm kind of trying to keep it all straightened out here. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Okay, so that's kind of what this thing looks like, about ready to go in the oven. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just slather on a little bit of butter that I've melted in the microwave, and that's going to make this kind of cook to a nice golden brown. Alright, so I very carefully transferred my concoction onto this cookie sheet, and now I'm just going to take some of my butter here, and I'm going to use the basting brush, and we're just going to kind of coat it with some of the butter. Like I said, this will make it a nice golden brown on the top, and this will help immensely. This is going to be really good. I can tell already this looks really good. I'm just going to use all the butter, so we'll go do a couple coats if we have to. It's just like painting the house, right? 2 coats is better than 1. Go all the way around, make sure we get every little last exposed corner done here. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's throw this in the oven for 20 minutes at 350. Alright, in we go. Alright, see you in 20 minutes. Alright, it actually took a little bit longer than expected to prepare this. I think it's, once again, because I have a larger than usual one. That's what I'm kind of thinking here. But that looks pretty good. I actually had to turn on the broiler a little bit because the top wasn't browning the way I wanted to. So that's why it kind of was a little smoky coming out of the oven there. But next thing we're going to do now is we're going to let this rest for about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, and then we're going to cut this thing up and see what it looks like. But it smells pretty good. I can't wait. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's go give this thing its taste test. Alright, now they recommend using a little bit more of the Thousand Island dressing as a dipping sauce. So I've got a little bit of that out, and let's try this out. You're not going to really pick this up as a sandwich. It seemed like more of a knife and fork kind of a tool, but so yeah, that's pretty good. Now I want to get a little bit more into it because I didn't get a lot of the sauerkraut that time. I got just the corned beef and the pizza dough, but this next bite will resolve that issue. A lot of sauerkraut in here now. Yeah, definitely got the sauerkraut that time. I would probably still go a little bit more sauerkraut. I was a little concerned I was overdoing it because the recipe called for half a cup and I probably put closer to a cup onto it, but I would probably go a little bit more on the sauerkraut even than that. But I do really like it. It's yeah, I like the flavor of the corned beef, and the combination of the corned beef and the sauerkraut are really good together. And it's added to it when you use the Thousand Island dressing. So definitely can recommend this one. I'll put the recipe in the description below. And other than that, I think that's all that we have for today. So thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Bon appetit.